What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Network, and today is episode 151. We've done 151 of these things, and you've been along for the ride either the whole time, you've been ride or die, or you've died, and then you came back to life because you've seen the light of the Nerd Cave.
Blinded by the light.
Or this is your very first episode.
Or your very first. And
which is a good one to start out on.
Hey, it's like reading a comic book. We're going to introduce you the right way. I'm Zach Dykes. On my left is
Robbie Rawls.
And on my right,
Derek Diamond.
So let's get into it. Topic of the show.
Dun dun dun.
We'll just go at it this way. This is a topic brought to you by Adam Gumbert. Adam Gumbert went
Shout out to Adam.
Our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Nerd Network, and we said, hey, we need topics. And he was like, I've got one for you. He said, Batman versus Superman thoughts. We've only heard Zach's, and he's completely right. And I agree with you right there, son. I am completely right. If you haven't seen my review, you can definitely check that out. So I'm going to let you two go at it, and I'll interject here and there because I got 34 minutes of just me ranting on it by myself. So I'm going to let y'all talk a little bit about it.
Derek?
All right, so this movie, and I saw this late Thursday night. Going into it, I was really hoping that it would be good. I've expressed this, numerous times on the show that I am a Marvel fan first, but that I want the DC movies to be good.
Same with me.
And there's a lot riding on this. So I'm like, I'm just going to go in with an open mind. The first reviews came out saying, oh, this is really good. And then the bad ones started coming out. It was down at like 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I've seen movies that are that low and then they turn out to be okay.
Diamonds in the rough.
Exactly. So going into it, I just went in with an open mind, and I can honestly say I really enjoyed the movie. It has its flaws, which I'll go into what I didn't like about it before I go into what I liked about it. The pacing of the movie is not very good, but I think that's a Zack Snyder staple. Zack Snyder is a very good visual director. The visuals in that movie were unbelievable.
Yes.
Especially, and I don't really consider this a spoiler, but in the beginning when they show the Waynes being murdered, it's shown from like a different perspective, like the close-ups of the pearls wrapped around the gun. That
I loved. I thought that was stinking awesome.
I went on 4 minutes about that scene.
that whole thing, the whole sequence was good.
Yes.
And I thought that was the perfect way to introduce Batman, because you show how he becomes Batman, but not taking up too much time. Now, as I said, the pacing of the movie was not very good. It felt like there were 3 different storylines that were just kind of stirred together. But I enjoyed the story.
Yeah.
I thought Ben Affleck knocked it out of the park as Batman. And I will actually say this might be kind of bold, but Jeremy Irons is now my all-time favorite Alfred. I loved Jeremy Irons. Michael Caine was great, but I love the more hands-on approach that Alfred took in this movie. It reminded me of, I think it was the Batman Earth 1 comic book where Alfred's a little bit younger, and he has more of a hands-on approach with like a younger Bruce Wayne.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just clarifying this before people come at you with pitchforks and everything. You're talking about live-action Alfred, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not including any animated versions?
In the live-action movies exclusively, Jeremy Irons is my favorite.
That's what I wanted to make sure that people didn't be like, what about the Batman animated series Alfred?
Well, that probably would happen.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to...
And we'll get to that in a
Grab
second.
your torch and pitchforks.
I just wanted to clarify so you didn't...
But no, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. As I said, it has its flaws, but it didn't cripple the movie enough to where it made it awful.
Yeah.
And I think the bad reviews are a total exaggeration.
Well, they don't come at it from a comic book lover or a fan's perspective of it. They come from all right, well, this is not the style that movies need to be, and stuff like that. But my initial thoughts were, I liked the movie. I thought it was awesome. The fight scenes and everything. The only issue really that I had was Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex Luthor. That's what kind of nipped it in the butt for me. But everything else, I enjoyed. The pacing, the stories, I thought that they were good. I enjoyed Gal Gadot thoroughly as Wonder Woman. Ben Affleck, Batfleck, is the Batman for me. Like, that is the best movie portrayal of Batman that I have seen. Even Tim Burton's. Michael Keaton. Well, that was Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He was my Batman until this. But I enjoyed the movie. The Batman and Superman fight was amazing. What else did I really like?
Seeing the Bat armor was awesome.
The power armor,
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was a very well done movie. Besides Eisenberg,
You got anything else before I jump in?
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I did enjoy the way they ended the movie. I'll say I was surprised that they had the guts to do what they did.
oh yeah, that took big.
I'm not gonna spoil it,
big cojones.
but I'm glad that they went that route, and it makes me interested for Justice League.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go into total 34 minutes of me geeking out over this movie. But if you don't want an awesome review, why wouldn't you? You can check that over at our YouTube page, channel, whatever you want to say. The movie. Yes, I agree with you. It had its problems. It had some pacing problems. It had, some story elements that didn't necessarily pan out. But this movie did something different. It didn't do the Marvel formula where it's just, oh, well, here's this funny one-liner, and here's a hero, and here's a bad guy. And let's focus on the hero the whole time. And if you ever watch any Batman movie or series with him, or pretty much any DC thing, the superheroes are usually not the main focus. It's usually the villain. And I think Jesse Eisenberg did a really good job as Lex Luthor. He's not the Lex Luthor we know because he's the son of Lex Luthor. I liked the intricacies that he put into the character, his tendencies to be very socially awkward and everything. I think that was a good conscious decision to do, and him being a manipulator was really interesting. Batman was amazing. Love the suit. Great. A lot of people are like, well, he killed people. Well, they didn't really show him killing people, but you can pretty much assume that. Yeah. I don't think this is a different Batman. This is not the same Batman that you've seen forever. The scene with the Waynes, loved it. 4 minutes of it. Go watch it. But the whole movie was really, really good. And I can't sing praises enough for it. And you just need to go watch this and form your own opinion. Yes, there are a bunch of people that are, this is horrible. This movie sucked. I wouldn't ever go watch it again. And then there's people that are saying, this movie was great. This was enjoyable. The comic book references in this movie made it worth going to watch. When they mentioned the freaking Phantasm.
Yeah, me and Zach looked at each other. We're like, oh.
That was one that I forgot to talk about in my review. The Phantasm. They mentioned that. That
was great.
That's because that's the best animated movie ever.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, let me ask this. What was your favorite reference in the movie other than Phantasm?
To be honest, and this might be a mild spoiler, but I don't care. I love the Flash's cameo.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me feel more confident in Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell like he was wearing this type of armor, but you could see hints of the costume. And you know what that made me think of? Flashpoint.
Oh, yeah. Man, if they do Flashpoint Paradox.
They might.
It's going to be sick.
I think they should.
They should.
It would be sick.
And the actor that played Thomas Wayne...
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Would be a excellent Batman.
He's a really good actor.
Mm-hmm. did he played the comedian, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the comedian in Watchmen.
So I would love it.
I'm gonna go with another. He's in there, but another cameo, which was Cyborg, because Cyborg's always been one of my characters that I've thoroughly enjoyed, and being able to see him being built was awesome.
Yeah.
They handled the cameos very, very well, and that was a big concern of mine.
Mine too. Like going in, I was like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to do it right? And I felt like there was no better way they could have done it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
My favorite reference, there's so many good ones in this movie, but I think when this is a little spoilery, when it was pretty much zombie looking Superman,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, they're freaking doing it. Oh my God. Like, it was just that little moment. And I was just like, that was such an interesting part of The Dark Knight Returns. And I was so happy to see that in there. And where they had the Nightmare Batman, I didn't talk about this, but the planet looked sort of like Apocalypse with the big tubes of lava shooting up in fire. So I wonder.
And, of course, the giant Omega symbol.
Yeah.
And you had the creatures that fly. I can never remember their names. They were in it. Like you saw, like in the dream that they were. Cannot remember their names to save my life. Mm-hmm. It's been that kind of week, guys.
But anyway.
Terror Demons.
Thank you.
I was waiting. I was like,
I couldn't remember either.
It's Terror Demons, yeah. But yeah, I loved it. And like I'm saying, go form your own opinion. Everybody's opinion will be different. I know I am just like waving the flag for Batman versus Superman and have been since the night it got over with, where other people are bashing it and are doing it in a hateful way, I think, and doing it in a way where it's like, if you like this movie, then you are a complete idiot, and your opinion doesn't matter because my opinion matters. And I understand where that's coming from. It's coming from like a place of insecurity where I want an open dialogue. If Robbie hated the movie, well, why? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I have no problems with saying that the reason that I didn't like the movie was Jesse Eisenberg, and a lot of people have loved and praised Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex, but it's just that I didn't care for it. So when Nick and we were messaging, and I meant to say question it, but I said
don't question.
They shouldn't be. But no, anytime a critic or anything says something about, I give this a rating. Why? Why do you give it? And, if I ever hate something, I will be sure to let you know why I didn't like it.
And that brings us to another question from Nick Caputo. What's an alternate way of grading a piece of art besides giving it a number? Is it just simply good or bad? Let's talk about that.
Well, the way I've always thought we should rate things, like, I think giving a number score is unfair.
Yeah, I agree.
Because film, like a lot of different pieces of art, it's all subjective. Mm-hmm. I think it should be, at least this is how I've always done it, either. What?
I wasn't even trying to steal it. I said, let's talk about that, and that's a Rhett and Link thing. I wasn't even meaning it.
I was doing the...
Anyway, it's either go watch it, wait till it comes out on video, or stay away from it.
Yeah.
That's how I've always rated things.
Redbox it.
Yeah.
Theater, Redbox, stay away is my thing, because it's subjective.
Yeah.
And kind of going off of the whole, people bashing it in a hateful way. If someone legitimately doesn't like the movie, I don't have an issue with that, because as I said, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
But it's when people start saying, oh, well, if you don't agree with me, then you're wrong and you're a moron. That's when I have an issue, because we all have the right to our own opinion. And yeah, if you don't like the movie, that's fine, but don't disrespect other people's opinion just because they don't agree with you.
Yeah.
And in life, you're going to come across that where people do not agree with you. You can't, bash that person for being different. They're their own person.
One thing, I think people don't really know how to handle it. I think I was talking in a few groups about this, and this has been just pretty much an ongoing thing since Thursday night, is that comic book fans have a problem, and me being a comic book fan, I've seen this problem where if you're a comic book fan, and this is not all of them, this is a very vocal minority, when you say, oh, well, I like this or I didn't like this, they're like, oh, well, I know more than you about this, know more about the subject than you do. And it's like this, for lack of a better term, pissing contest on who knows more or who does more. And it's the same thing with video game culture. Oh, well, my character's level this, that, and the other, and I have this. What do you have? And you don't have that. Oh, well, you don't play enough. You're filthy casual.
What I think it comes down to, I think it has to do with wanting to feel good about yourself and having a little bit of an inferiority complex is really what it is.
As a child. Like, my biggest thing is, who cares if you're not as knowledgeable? That person still enjoys that character, and if they didn't like it, then that's their opinion. And you don't have to be overly, no, I know everything about this character. Doesn't make you
I do.
Have any
His
less
name's
of an
Bruce
opinion.
Wayne.
And there's even
he's
stuff
a
that you
millionaire.
might not even know about Batman or Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, not everybody is 100% knowledgeable about something.
So back to Nick's question. There we go. How would you grade something if you were not giving it a number scale? And I know you like to give numbers as well.
But I do agree that they are very, unforgiving sometimes and everything. But is there a better
Brokeback Mountain?
Exactly.
Unforgiving.
But is there a better way to do it? As of right now, no. People are going to number rank just about everything, but because we have not found a solid system of reviewing or critiquing or anything like that.
Yeah. To go on this, grading a piece of art is always hard. I'm a musician, been involved with music. I teach, and getting graded is a thing that's scary. And I can, and it's at some point in time, you just got to be like, whatever, I've done the best that I can, and that's how it has to lay. Does everything fall under the same criteria? No. I would not say, that Batman versus Superman matches up to Gone with the Wind. They're two different movies. They have two different criteria in my mind, that this one is more action-based and this one is a classic, and you're dealing with classic mentality right here of what a movie should be, and you're dealing with something that is based on a freaking comic book. So I think you have to look at it that way, and yes, you have to have a good story, you have to have good pacing and all of this, and yes, that's probably why a lot of people knock the movie, but it is not Catwoman or Batman versus Batman and Robin, and it's definitely not Fantastic Four. For people that put those in that category are just demeaning this and trying to sound like they know what they're doing and being the loudest voice in the room, saying, "Oh well, I just like this movie and it's this, that, and the
I
other."
hate this.
Yeah,
I've even seen someone say, "I enjoyed the Super Mario movie more than," and I was
That's
like,
just someone being
I was
a
like,
dumbass.
"You sir are stupid."
yeah. And
I'll just flat out say it. That is someone being a dumbass.
I know.
Yeah.
I troll you guys with that movie every now and then,
But we know you're kidding.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, and the thing that really kind of stood out to me, and I will get off my soapbox eventually. My review, yes, I pointed out some things, and I even said in my review, yes, this movie has problems. That WB, Zack Snyder, whoever's listening, they need to take the critique that they have been given and do whatever they need to for the next movie. Wonder Woman, Justice League, they need to take the criticism, founded or not founded, weed through what is what, and then fix things, make things better, because that's the only way you get better about making content. Is if we made Let's Plays as bad as we did when we first started, or we made a podcast that sounded exactly like episode 0, there would be no reason we sit here every week and do this.
Yeah.
We've taken criticism, constructive. That's the thing. Constructive criticism is what needs to happen. Not just blatant, just mean criticism. Well, this isn't Marvel, or this is
sucks,
stupid, or whatever. That's idiotic. That's an opinion. That's not criticism. You're not saying, oh, this is how you can fix this, do this, that, and the other, and then this will be better. That is a different thing.
One thing I want to say is, instead of tearing people down with negative criticism, why don't we try to build them up? Try to make it better with, like you said, the constructive criticism side of it. We can't be all the time saying, like if I said, Derek, your show sucks. You need to do this. You need to do this. And if I didn't say, hey, I said, hey, Derek, your show could be better if you try to do.
If you could stop talking.
If you could add this or maybe take this out of it, I feel like it could be, and he could be like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Or, well, I think I like it. Either way, no water off my back.
The analogy I would use is something that I actually learned in leadership training a couple of weeks ago. It's called support, coach, support. You explain something that can be improved upon, and then you offer a solution. Mm-hmm. Because something that I can't stand is someone who complains about something but doesn't bring a solution to the table.
Yeah.
So if you think this movie sucks, number one, why do you think it sucks? Mm-hmm. And number two, what could make it better?
Yeah.
Because I actually think, and I talked with you about this, I think that they should get Ben Affleck to do the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
And that the thing with Zack Snyder is something that I said in the beginning. He's a great visual director, but he's not a storyteller. Mm-hmm. And that to me was where the problem was. And I think that Warner Brothers just giving him complete access to the entire DC universe wasn't exactly the smartest thing. Now, that's my opinion on what they should do. Will that happen? Probably not.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to support the DC universe, because I want it to be good, just like Marvel is now.
Exactly.
I would love, and the fact that it's different, like you said, it shouldn't be the same as the Marvel movies. It's got to be different, because otherwise, why would people go see it if it's just the same thing as Marvel?
Marvel has always been kind of the lighter side of things, and sometimes you just need darkness, and that's what DC gives you. It gives you the darker side of some of these characters, and that's why I've thoroughly enjoyed some of the shows that they've put out, like Arrow.
Yeah. To answer, because I haven't answered Nick's question, I kind of go along with Derek there. I think it needs to be a system of, and I know a lot of people use number systems, and I think one of the better things that the video game industry does, and I think Rotten Tomatoes is sort of like this, but not really, is Metacritic, where they take all these scores and they put it into some kind of algorithm, and then it gives you an overall score from every site. And yeah, that's one thing, but I think you need to listen to people that you trust. And yes, they will have different opinions. I know my opinion is different than other people that I know. But if you trust me about comic books or comic book heroes, then you should, believe in what I'm saying, that Batman versus Superman is a good movie. Mm-hmm. And just like I said earlier this week, that you need to watch Daredevil, and me and Robbie agreed on that. It's believing in somebody. I watched Kind of Funny, Greg Miller and Tim Geddes talk about the movie, and Greg Miller, he loved it. He was like, I don't want to say I loved it, but he's like, but I do. He's like, it's a little bit too early to say. And he was really supportive about the movie. And I trust Greg because he's a big DC comic book fan, so am I. But then Tim, he was like, I didn't really care for it. Here's my reasons why. He backed up, what his opinion was and said, I probably won't ever watch it again. That's totally fine because he was civil about it. That's the big thing. He was civil about it.
You don't have to attack people when you don't agree with them. And that's
it's an insecurity thing.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to.
Internet culture.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how the younger generation, even our generation to a point, have been that way, where instead of, like you said, trying to build up, they're like, attacking. They're going out, well, I hate this movie. You shouldn't watch it. If you thought this was good, then you're an idiot and all that crap. Just be nice. Play nice,
really,
children.
The way I could sum up like the internet culture's opinion of this movie, you guys have seen The Simpsons, right?
Yes.
You know who the comic book guy is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just picture him going, worst movie ever.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about how people feel about the whole thing. But tell them what you just pulled up here.
So apparently that's not the case. I'll read the title for you. I'm not going to bury the lead. This is from comicbook.com. Batman v Superman opens with 424 million globally. Biggest ever for a comic book movie. I'll just read a few movies that are ahead of them. This is not comic book movies. These are just
movies that are ahead of it.
Star Wars The Force Awakens, Jurassic World, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and then Batman. So they beat out Furious 7 and both Avengers movies, and each of which earned between 39 and 400 million in their opening frames. So that's globally. Domestically, they're behind one of the Avengers movies, but for it to be the biggest opening for a comic book movie ever, that's saying a lot, because people want to see Batman. They want to see Superman, and freaking Wonder Woman is finally making it on the big screen.
When you have the Trinity all together like that, I mean, it's going to pull in the masses.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you guys feel like they should have saved that shot of the three of them for the movie and not put it in the trailers?
I would have loved if they would have saved that. They would have been much better.
We would have geeked out even more.
So any other about Batman?
People who dislike this movie can go drink some peach tea.
Granny's peach tea.
Granny's peach tea.
Just know, trust the people that you trust, and be open-minded.
Yes.
Don't let your vision be clouded by very loud opinions. That's my last little bit on that. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was one episode 151. Thank you for listening, and appreciate you listening. And you can find us where, Robbie?
We are all over social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you want to check out an awesome group that is very active with all your nerdy needs, check out facebook.com/groups/nerdcavenetwork.
We also have several podcasts throughout the week. Every Tuesday, obviously, is the show, the Nerd Cave Podcast. Every Thursday is my solo show, The Derek Diamond Experience. And every Saturday, you can check out our friends over at the Pop Culture Palette. We also have many YouTube videos that come out throughout the week. Every Monday is a portion of the show. Fridays, we have top 5 videos. We have Let's Plays throughout the week. And every Thursday, I do a old school video game for our Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, guys. So if you want to see my really long spoiler-free / spoiler review of Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, check that out on the channel. I go really, really in-depth and geek out a lot, and very excited. So check that out.
Is it worse than Dark Knight Returns?
I don't get as vulgar.
That's good.
Yeah, I was
That's
very
good.
very PG in it. You can also check our review of Daredevil out there as well, and lots of other content. But guys, I really wanted to thank you for all your support and giving us awesome topics from our Facebook group, and just staying along with the ride. And if you haven't, I'm asking you this, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we're trying to hit 400 by the end of March. We're at 389 right now, and we need everybody going and doing that, because YouTube is a huge part of our network. So thanks for coming along with the ride, and can't wait to see you next week when we ask the question, does Robbie taste like ice cream?
Sure.
Yeah, I made that up. But this has been Zach.
You have.
Derek
and Robbie.
Have a week.